Hey guys, well it is steering day. All my parts showed up. They showed up 3 days ago. I'm very surprised. Rock Auto ships quick. So anyways, got a day off, so I'm gonna fire up the truck, back it up, get her into position, and then start replacing all the steering components. I gotta replace pretty much everything: inner, outer tie rods, tie rod adjusting sleeve, pitman arm, and idler arm. So yeah, we'll just get to it. Alright, first fire up in 5 days. Still holding the charge, that's good. Still got some work to do firing her up, or getting her to start, but it's a lot better, so much better. I do have to figure out what's going on with my oil pressure. I doubt I've got that much, so it gets all tweaky and stuff, but yeah, I'm excited. Be driving her before you know it. And before I shift it into reverse, I want to show you guys what it's doing, and I don't know why it's doing this. I've checked the fluid level in the transmission. The only thing I haven't done is pulled the pan off it and check the filter in case it's blocked or something. But when I first put it into reverse, it does a nasty clunk. Not sure why. Once I've gone forwards and backwards a few times, if I go from drive into reverse, it's fine, it doesn't clunk. But anyways, this is what it does. Actually, that wasn't bad. It's usually way worse. It's like very aggressive. So neutral. Drive, it's nice and smooth. Neutral. There's a heavy hit. Yeah. But if I go from drive into reverse, it's not nearly as bad. So I don't know. Maybe it's U-joints. I'm just not sure. But yeah, it never did that before I lowered it, so I don't know what's going on with it. Anyways, we'll get her backed up into position and we'll get started on the steering. Alright, so my steering wheel is straight, and this tire is towed out maybe half an inch or so. This tire is towed out maybe 1.5 inches. So yeah, that's why I got new tie rod ends and adjusting sleeves. Mine were okay. I really only needed to replace the pitman arm and idler arm, but I knew that I was going to have to align this, and trying to align rusted parts is not the most fun. So I opted for just new everything. So we'll get started. I'll go grab the parts and show you guys basically how I do this. So when I got these, I broke down all the boxes and packaging and assembled as much as I could. So yeah, if these threads are rusted and stuff like the ones on the truck are, they're not fun. Not fun to try to align these. But yeah, I got them rough assembled. They're just slid in. They're not set to any length or anything like that. So yeah, I'll grab my hammer, I'll grab some sockets, and yeah, we'll get started. So I got my outer tie rod end nut off. I got the pitman arm nut off. I'm not worrying about these quite yet. I've got the idler arm nut off and the other outer tie rod end nut off. So what I usually do for the pitman arms is, because I'm replacing this anyways, is I'll cut a slit into it with an angle grinder, hit it with a cold chisel, that'll drop right off. For these, I usually give them a couple smacks on the steering knuckle there. That'll kind of break the taper hold and it'll pop out, and I ripped my glove. Yeah, and then the idler arm will be the same story, just hit it on the face there, and it'll break the taper seat. And I've got the dog licking the back of my neck. How's he going? It might be 1,000 times easier to hit that if I took the tire off. So what I might end up doing is, if I can't get a good swing at that to break the seat, what I'll do is I'll end up jacking up the truck, and I'll put a couple of blocks underneath the lower control arms and lower it back down. That way all the weight is on the loaded area, instead of jacking it up under here and then the lower control arm droops and messes with your alignment. If you set it loaded, like under weight, it's going to be more accurate than if you set it when it's the suspension's in droop, because when it goes back under weight, everything's going to be off. So what I usually do is I set it, I believe it's an 1/8 inch toe out instead of 1/2 inch toe in and 1.5 inch toe in. So between both tires, like, it's got fairly uniform tread, so I'll pick a spot on the tread like here, and then here on the other wheel, and then measure from the back as close to center as I can. It's going to be difficult because I've got this truck lowered and the frame is now in the way, but I'll do the best I can, and that's usually what I do, and it's pretty damn close. It's not 100%, but it's good enough. I've always done my own alignments. I've never taken anything to a shop, and I don't really have any issues with tire wear. So yeah, I figure 1/8 inch toe out is pretty much bang on. So anyways, I will get to it and check in with you guys in a bit. That was way easier than I thought. I didn't even break a sweat. So I got the driver's side outer tie rod out. Now on to the passenger side. Way easier than I thought it was going to be. These might have actually been replaced fairly recently. There's like not even any rust on it. It's just covered in frickin' grease. So I've got my wire brush. I'm just going to brush everything down, especially the center link, because that is the one piece that I will be reusing. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see how they come apart on here, because you got to pull the nut off and then hammer on here and on there to break the inner tie rod and the pitman arm loose from the center link. So anyways, we'll get on to the passenger side. See if I can get you guys an action shot. I'm right-handed, so laying on my left side and swinging might not work so good, but we'll give her a shot. I don't know where all these stupid spiders are coming from, but it's 2 I've killed now on the boards that I'm laying on, which makes me very uncomfortable. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Max, quit licking my neck. Easy peasy. That was actually easier than laying on my right side and swinging. Don't ask me why. Now we've got the idler arm to do, and looks like they've left a bit of casting there. Looks like a perfect spot to hit. So we'll get that knocked out, and then I'll grab the angle grinder and have at the pitman arm. Facts. Set you guys up for this shot too. Oops, hit you guys, sorry. Ho ho ho! Sorry about that. Clipped you guys with the freaking hammer. Not sure if you guys are seeing this, but we'll keep going. Any time now. Oops. Okay, this one's being stubborn. We'll get her though. We'll get her. Told you. That one's been in there for a while. Oh, what have I done to the camera? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one's been in there for a while. So, just the pitman arm to go. So I'll grab the grinder and we'll remove that. Alright, the trick with this is you don't want to go into the threads, you want to stop just shy of them. So I'll grab my cold chisel and we'll see if we've got far enough. If we did, when I hit it, it'll crack and then it'll drop right off. So let's have a look. Oh, that guy fell back in. Don't do that. It's not okay. Ow. Ow. Can't really get a good swing at it. Don't quite think we're deep enough yet. Yeah, just gonna go a bit more. come on. Might be starting to break free. Got it. Okay, now my thumb hurts. And yeah, so this next part's a little tricky because the spar is hitting the frame. Never mind, I spoke too soon. Not tricky at all. So yeah, we'll pull her out and finish the disassembly. Awesome. We got the steering components out. Hey, Baxter. Hi. What's up? Are you supervising? Yeah. Good job, Steve. Yeah. So, anyways, not horrible, but not the greatest either. So, we'll undo the nuts off the center link. Pound those out. I'm going to clean up the center link, and then we'll install our new parts onto it. Or maybe I'll do the yeah, you know what, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. One thing you got to watch out on these GMs is they do like to change the spline pattern. Some have 4, some have 3, so yeah, just make sure you order up the right arm. Mine luckily has 4, so there weren't too many options for this, but there's lots of options, like with power steering, without, with what is it, proportional steering or something like that. It's weird. Lots of different options. So just make sure you order the right parts, and Bob will be your uncle as well. Yeah, you can see it split right down there. So all you want to do is just break the tension on the taper there, and then she'll slide right off. Right off. Yeah, I need some more coffee. Okay guys, doing some rough math. From the center of the ball joint to the center of the tie rod end is roughly 6.5. From the center of the ball joint to the edge of my tire is roughly 14.5. So what I've figured out is that my ratio is roughly 1 to 2. For every 1 inch this moves out, this face of the tire will go 2 inches. So what I need to do is make it roughly 1/4 inch shorter than it was before. And that should pull this tire in about 1/2 inch. So on different vehicles this will vary. Just for a rough calculation, measure from the center of your ball joint where it pivots to the center of your outer tie rod end, and then measure from the center of your ball joint to the center, or the outside diameter of your tire, and that will give you roughly your ratio, and then you can adjust your tie rod end based on that. So say you needed to go, say you were a 1 inch towed out total, you could do 1/4 inch on either tie rod, either tie rod, and then you should be close enough. So just use that as a rough guideline. So, and the clays, yeah, I got the pitman arm installed, so that went super easy. I put the grease nipple in the top, and then I put this on by hand and tighten that up. Smacked it with a hammer a few times with my wrench, a little wrencherino, and yeah, it's a little tighter than it was before, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. So, yeah. Well, I need more coffee for sure. Anyways, I'll get to disassembling the rest of the old steering components, and then I will install new ones. First, I'm going to measure my original tie rod length, and then based on my rough guess that this was a 1/2 inch out and that one was 1.5 inches out, I'm going to shorten the proper tie rods per side based on that, and then see where I'm at. I'm aiming for an 1/8 inch toe out, so we'll see what I get. But that's what I'm gonna do. Well guys, a little bit of elbow grease and I got it apart. I also got it cleaned up, so it's looking a lot better. You guys think I needed a new pitman arm? I think so. That one's done. And this had some play in it as well. I can't remember which end. But whatever. That wasn't nearly as bad as the pitman arm. It was horrible. So now I'll take my measurements and then we'll get everything started to get mocked up. I'm probably going to get my idler arm installed right now, and then get the center link put up, and then and see where we're at. The old one is roughly 16.5, so I've set the new one to roughly 16.25, maybe 16.125, somewhere in between there. So I'm going to get this side installed, and then I'm going to do the same procedure for the other side, and then yeah, wiggle the steering wheel a few times, and then start doing my measuring. Yeah, I'm excited. Well guys, I'd say that is pretty dang close. Wheels are both looking pretty straight. Just a hair of toe out, and it drives straight back and forth. I've adjusted it like 6 times now, and the steering wheel's straight, so yeah, it's pretty good. So I'm gonna tighten up those adjusting clamps. Those guys there, tighten those down and call it good. So I guess the next step would be to get some exhaust, because I can't have it blasting at the rear axle. That's no good. But yeah, freaking alignment check, steering components replaced check, except in that reverse order from that. So yeah, I'm freaking excited. Let's get closer, little steps. Well guys, once again, rain strikes. She done be wet. So I don't think there's too much more I can do on the outside of it until the rain frigs off. But yeah, alignment is done. I'm happy with that. So next step is I got to figure out why the engine's not running so good again. It just surges. It's probably a vacuum leak or something stupid like that. But anyways guys, that'll do it for today. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care. 100% Abby approved. Well guys, she's got plates. Friggin' right, I'm excited. So I'm getting ready to take her out for the second maiden voyage. This time I do have the cluster plugged in properly. So I think first stop is gas station, because when this thing gets down to about a 16th, there's nothing in the tank. So maybe I'll mow my way up to the gas station, get some fuel, and then maybe bomb around town a little bit. See how she does.